I am Addison, 30 years old, and for as long as I can remember, my family's idea of success was rigid and unforgiving. My father, a renowned cardiothoracic surgeon, and my mother, an economics professor, set the bar so high it crushed anyone who dared to dream differently. From childhood, I was the creative misfit, the one who saw the world through a lens of innovation rather than tradition. Meanwhile, my older sister Emily was the golden child, the perfect law student, the pride of every family dinner conversation. Growing up, I was constantly compared to her, as if my unconventional ideas and restless spirit were a failure waiting to happen. When I decided to leave my stable tech job to launch my own healthcare startup instead of encouragement, I got disdain. At every family gathering, the whispers grew louder. Why waste your time on that? You should be more like Emily. The condescending smirks, the sideways glances, the outright dismissal, they cut deeper than any criticism should. They saw me as reckless, naive, and foolish, while praising my sister's practical choices. The weight of their judgment was suffocating, like a noose tightening around my neck. And then came the intervention, the ultimate betrayal. They staged a family meeting under the guise of concern, but it was clear what they really wanted: to force me to quit, to abandon my dream, to conform to their narrow vision of success. They questioned my every move, mocked my passion, and dismissed the countless hours I had poured into building something meaningful. It was not just about my business. It was about breaking me down until I fit their mold. But I refused to be broken. Their betrayal ignited a fire inside me, a fierce determination to prove them wrong, to make them eat their words. What made it worse was the cold, calculated way they pretended it was all for my own good, while hiding their jealousy and fear behind false concern. I will never forget that moment, the day my family turned their backs on me, just when I needed them most. If you have ever been crushed by the people who should have supported you, you know exactly how this feels. It is a pain mixed with fury, a betrayal that demands more than silence. This is my story, and it is far from over. After that crushing family intervention, I described where they all gathered like a jury ready to convict my dream. I felt a storm of emotions swirling inside me: hurt anger and an overwhelming sense of betrayal. But amid that pain, something unexpected took root: a fierce resolve not to let their doubts define me. My name is Addison, and at 30 years old, I was standing on the edge of something incredible, even if no one else could see it yet. Growing up, I had always been the outsider in my own family's carefully curated narrative. My sister Emily was the shining star, effortlessly hitting every milestone with the precision they expected. Meanwhile, I was building a vision that seemed too radical, too risky, too different for their comfort. After leaving my secure tech job, I plunged headfirst into founding Connect Care, a healthcare startup aimed at revolutionizing how patients with rare diseases find clinical trials. It was a mission fueled by empathy and innovation, but to my family, it was just a pipe dream destined to fail. Their skepticism was loud, their judgments sharp, and their concern thinly veiled attempts to steer me back to the safe path. That day in their living room, surrounded by relatives who questioned my every move, I felt the full weight of their disbelief. They couldn't see the late nights coding with my co-founder Jasmine, the breakthroughs in our algorithm, or the small victories with patients whose lives we touched. To them, I was just wasting time, not making real money, and certainly not measuring up to Emily's steady conventional success. Yet even as they dismissed me, the universe had a different plan. Just hours after their intervention, a Wall Street Journal notification buzzed on my mother's phone, announcing that Connect Care was valued at nearly $1 billion and in advanced talks for acquisition. That moment was surreal, a vindication that felt almost too late. But it was proof that the work I believed in mattered, even if my family had failed to see it. If you have ever faced harsh judgment from those closest to you, if you have ever been told to give up on your dreams, I want you to know you are not alone. Share where you are watching from in the comments, and hit that like button if this story speaks to you. Subscribe to join a community of dreamers and fighters who believe in breaking free from others' limits to build something truly extraordinary. Your journey matters. Keep pushing. After the shock of the intervention and the unexpected Wall Street Journal announcement, my life felt like it was spinning out of control. Yet somehow, it was also beginning to take shape in a way I never imagined. I was Addison, 30 years old, caught between two worlds: the cold judgment of my family and the thrilling, unpredictable world of a tech startup fighting to make a difference. The day after that family meeting, I found myself reflecting deeply on what success really meant. My sister Emily had always been the perfect child in their eyes, the steady lawyer climbing the ranks with a conventional path that my parents eagerly celebrated. Meanwhile, I was the rebel, the dreamer chasing something intangible and risky. But now, with Connect Care on the brink of a major breakthrough and a valuation in the hundreds of millions, I wondered if my family's narrow definition of success was too limited to grasp what I was building. I remembered all the times Emily's achievements were paraded around the dinner table, the quiet comparisons, the subtle digs at my unstable career. It hurt more than I let on. Yet as Jasmine and I worked tirelessly refining our AI algorithm to match rare disease patients with life-changing clinical trials, I was quietly changing the world. That breakthrough wasn't just about money or prestige, it was about saving lives. The story of little Eliza, a 12-year-old girl who found hope through our platform, kept me grounded amid the chaos. But despite the growing momentum, the tension with my family simmered beneath the surface. Emily's professional success was still the gold standard they measured everything against, and my unconventional path was dismissed as a phase or a failure waiting to happen. I realized that their judgment wasn't just about me, it was about fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of deviation from the script they valued. The irony was sharp when Emily herself showed up unexpectedly at our office, offering legal advice on the acquisition deal. Her gesture was a quiet acknowledgement that maybe, just maybe, I was onto something real. The lines between us began to blur, not without friction, but with a growing respect. Through that journey, I learned that sometimes the hardest battles are not with competitors or investors, but with those closest to us who fail to see our vision, and that the greatest victories come not just from financial success, but from standing firm in our truth. I want to hear from you. Have you ever faced doubt or betrayal from family when pursuing your dreams? Drop your location and story in the comments. And if you feel inspired, please like and subscribe. Join a community that supports breaking boundaries and redefining success on your own terms. We rise by lifting each other. Following the fragile truce that began with Emily's unexpected visit to our office, the reality of the uphill battle ahead settled in with full force. I was Addison, 30 years old now, more determined than ever to prove not only to my family, but to myself, that the vision behind Connect Care was worth fighting for. The days after that meeting were a whirlwind of activity negotiations and endless strategy sessions with Jasmine and our small but fiercely dedicated team. We knew that our platform had the power to change how patients with rare diseases access treatment, cutting through red tape and connecting them to clinical trials that could save lives. But the road was far from smooth. Regulatory challenges loomed like storm clouds, investors hesitated, and the pressure to show tangible financial returns grew unbearable. At the same time, the sting of my family's earlier doubts and criticisms echoed in my mind. How often had I heard that this was a foolish dream, a reckless gamble? How many times had Emily's steady path been held up as the right way to live? I found solace in the small victories, like the pilot program in Chicago, that showed a clear impact, or the emails from grateful families who finally found hope through our platform. But the real test came when the Wall Street Journal published that explosive article catapulting us into the spotlight. Suddenly, the same family members who doubted me were scrambling to show support, calling texting, eager to be part of the success they once dismissed. That attention brought its own challenges. Legal teams accelerated negotiations, and the delicate dance of protecting our vision, while navigating offers that could change everything. In the midst of this, my relationship with Emily evolved from silent rivalry to cautious partnership. Her legal expertise became invaluable, as we crafted a strategic deal that preserved our control over the technology while bringing in the resources we needed. Yet beneath the surface, I could not ignore the bitter undercurrents of betrayal, years of judgment, that cut deep the emotional toll of having to constantly defend my worth and choices. It fueled a quiet resolve for a kind of revenge, not through vengeance, but through undeniable success and the power to redefine the narrative my family had written for me. Through every sleepless night and hard fought victory, I realized that this journey was not just about a startup. It was about reclaiming respect, setting boundaries, and transforming painful doubt into fuel for growth. I am curious, have you ever faced betrayal from those you trusted? How did you turn that pain into strength? Share your story and where you are watching from in the comments below. If this story resonates, please hit like and subscribe to join a community of resilient dreamers rewriting their destinies. Together, we prove that true success comes not from approval, but from perseverance and integrity. After the whirlwind of media attention and the unexpected shift in family dynamics detailed in Outline 4, the real work of building Connect Care intensified. I was Addison 30, and the pressure to turn our vision into sustainable reality had never felt heavier. The Wall Street Journal article had opened doors, but it also meant that every move was scrutinized, not just by investors and industry experts, but by my own family, whose doubts and judgments still echoed beneath the surface. Jasmine and I worked tirelessly, refining our algorithm, expanding partnerships, and navigating the labyrinth of healthcare regulations that could make or break us. Each late night in the office was a battle against exhaustion and uncertainty, but the thought of the patients counting on us kept me going. Among those patients was a young girl named Sophie, whose case haunted me, a child with progressive muscular atrophy who had nowhere else to turn until Connect Care matched her to a life-changing clinical trial. Stories like hers were our motivation, reminding me why I refused to quit despite the personal toll. Yet the journey was far from easy. Family gatherings remained tense with my father and Emily still grappling with the reality that my path was far from the linear success they championed. But slowly, cracks appeared in their skepticism. Emily, once a symbol of the right way, began showing genuine interest in our legal strategies, offering insight into navigating complex contracts. Even my father, after countless conversations, started to appreciate the impact of what we were building, not just the financial success, but the lives we touched. This uneasy but growing respect did not erase the pain of past betrayals. It reminded me how deeply those wounds ran. I was learning to balance pride with humility, forgiveness with assertiveness. The real victory was not in changing their minds overnight, but in standing firm on my values and vision. Our strategic partnership proposal with Pharmacatch Global was a turning point. By maintaining ownership and control while gaining crucial resources, we set a precedent for responsible innovation. The deal was a testament to resilience, born from years of rejection and doubt. It was not just business. It was personal justice proof that perseverance and belief in oneself can rewrite even the harshest narratives. I want to ask you, have you ever faced betrayal from loved ones that threatened your dreams? How did you fight back? Share your thoughts and location in the comments below. If this story inspires you, please like and subscribe. Join a community where we turn pain into power and dreams into reality. Together, we redefine success on our own terms. Following the pivotal partnership deal described in Outline 5, my journey as Addison 30 took on a new intensity, filled with both hope and challenge. Securing the licensing agreement with Pharmacatch Global was a major victory, but it was only the beginning. The responsibility of scaling Connect Care to meet the expectations of millions of rare disease patients weighed heavily on me. Jasmine and I moved our headquarters into a sleek, modern office, a far cry from the cramped apartment where it all began. Our team grew rapidly, bringing on experts in clinical partnerships, regulatory affairs, and patient advocacy. Every day brought fresh challenges from navigating the complexities of international healthcare laws to fine tuning the patient matching algorithm to maintain its groundbreaking accuracy. Yet, amidst all this, what kept me grounded was the reminder of why I started this company in the first place. Stories like Sophie's A Young Girl, whose life was transformed through our platform, fueled our commitment. But the professional success contrasted sharply with the fragile state of my personal relationships. My family dinners, though more civil, still carried an undercurrent of unresolved tension. My father and sister Emily continued to struggle with the unconventional nature of my work, sometimes veiled in questions about when I might settle down or choose a safer path. Despite their words, I noticed subtle changes: their growing respect for our legal advocacy program, Emily's eagerness to assist with contract reviews, and my father's occasional pride when discussing our latest clinical milestones. The road to acceptance was slow and uneven, mirroring the often non-linear progress of our startup itself. I had to reconcile the sting of past betrayals with the hope for a future where we could coexist with mutual respect. Professionally, the expanded launch of Connect Care across 12 countries marked a milestone. We had successfully connected over 20,000 patients to life-changing treatments, and the influx of gratitude-filled messages kept the team motivated. But the pressures of running a rapidly growing company also took a toll. Late nights stretched into early mornings, and the weight of leadership tested my resolve. There were moments when doubt crept in, whispering fears of failure and inadequacy. Yet those were eclipsed by the fierce determination that had driven me from the start, the refusal to let skepticism, whether from family or investors, define my worth or my vision. One of the hardest lessons was learning to establish boundaries, both professionally and personally. I had to protect my time and energy, say no when necessary, and demand respect on my own terms. It was a balancing act being a visionary CEO while staying true to my roots and values. As this chapter unfolded, I reflected on how the painful family intervention, once a source of anguish, had become a catalyst for growth and resilience. It was a stark reminder that betrayal and judgment can sometimes be the crucibles in which strength is forged. Now, standing on this new frontier, I wondered, what about you? Have you ever faced doubts or betrayals that threatened your dreams? How did you find your way through? Share your story and where you are watching from in the comments below. If you feel inspired, please like and subscribe. Join us as we turn obstacles into opportunities, proving that true success is born from perseverance and self-belief. Following the significant milestones and evolving family dynamics in Outline 6. My life as Addison 30 entered a new phase filled with unexpected challenges and growth. The partnership deal with Pharmacch Global had secured our financial footing, yet it also amplified the stakes. Connect Care was no longer a small startup, but a burgeoning force in healthcare technology, demanding that Jasmine and I navigate complex corporate negotiations, regulatory hurdles, and an expanding team hungry for leadership and vision. Each day was a delicate dance, balancing innovation with responsibility, ensuring our core mission, connecting patients with rare diseases to life-saving treatments, remained the heart of every decision. Amid this whirlwind, personal reconciliation with my family was ongoing but far from complete. While the grudging respect I'd glimpsed from my father and sister Emily had softened some of the sharp edges, the wounds from past betrayals lingered beneath polite conversations and holiday dinners. Their words, though less cutting, sometimes carried unspoken expectations, reminders of the path not taken, and the traditional definitions of success they still held dear. Yet I was no longer the same Addison who had faced that painful family intervention months ago. I had grown stronger, more self-assured and resolute in defining success on my own terms. This growth was not without sacrifice. Long hours, missed social events, and the constant pressure to prove myself weighed heavily, but the lives we touched through our platform made the toll bearable. The stories of patients like Sophie and Eliza Children, given hope through clinical trials we helped connect, were daily reminders that our work transcended business metrics. It was about real people's lives, about justice in healthcare access. But amidst these triumphs, I faced betrayal in unexpected forms. Certain investors, and even some within our extended network, questioned my leadership, doubting a young woman could steer such a transformative venture. The subtle undermining and exclusion fueled a fire within me to push harder and prove not just the viability of Connect Care, but the strength of my resolve. Jasmine's unwavering partnership was my anchor. Together, we strategized not only about product development, but about building a company culture rooted in inclusivity, resilience, and empathy values we hoped would shield us from the kind of corporate coldness I had encountered. Professionally and personally, I learned the importance of setting boundaries, not just to protect myself, but to foster an environment where others could thrive without fear of judgment or dismissal. The journey was far from over. Connect Care's expansion into new markets, continuous innovation, and growing influence in the healthcare ecosystem presented fresh hurdles and opportunities. Meanwhile, my relationship with my family remained a work in progress, a complicated mix of forgiveness, cautious optimism, and the occasional reminder of past grievances. I understood now that healing takes time, and that sometimes the most profound growth comes from embracing imperfection and uncertainty. Looking ahead, I was determined to carry forward the lessons forged in adversity, resilience in the face of betrayal, the courage to stand firm in one's vision, and the power of redefining success on my own terms. And now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever faced setbacks or betrayals that challenged your dreams? How did you find strength to keep moving forward? Drop your location and story in the comments below. If this journey resonates, please like and subscribe. Join a community where we turn obstacles into stepping stones, proving every day that true success is more than a title, it is a testament to perseverance and self-belief. My journey as Addison 30 had become a delicate balancing act between groundbreaking success and personal reconciliation. Connect Care was no longer just a startup. It was a beacon of hope for thousands of patients with rare diseases worldwide. Our expanding team, now 50 strong, thrived under a culture Jasmine and I had carefully nurtured, one that valued innovation, empathy, and resilience. Yet with success came new pressures. Managing the company's rapid growth demanded long hours, strategic vision, and unyielding focus. Every decision carried weight, not just for the business, but for the lives depending on our platform. Amid this, my relationship with my family remained complex. While the sharp judgments and veiled criticisms of the past had softened, subtle reminders of my unconventional path lingered during family gatherings. My father's pride was now more genuine, yet the distance created by years of misunderstanding could not be erased overnight. Emily, once a distant rival, had become a surprising ally, using her legal expertise to safeguard our interests and ensure that Connect Care's mission was protected from corporate pressures. Still, the scars of betrayal ran deep. I often reflected on the painful intervention my family had staged months before the Wall Street Journal article transformed everything. That moment of judgment had ignited a fire within me, a determination not just to prove my worth, but to rewrite the narrative of success on my own terms. It taught me the importance of setting boundaries, demanding respect, and embracing my vision even when others doubted. Professionally, the company's recent expansion into European markets had brought fresh regulatory challenges, but also new opportunities to save lives. Our team worked tirelessly to navigate complex privacy laws while maintaining the integrity and effectiveness of our patient matching algorithm. The gratitude pouring in from families and patients fueled our resolve, reminding us daily why we endured the struggles. But personal growth was equally vital. I learned to protect my time and energy, saying no to distractions and negativity. The lessons of betrayal and resilience had shaped me into a leader who not only built technology, but also inspired a community. Looking back, I realized that the journey had transformed me. What began as a battle for validation evolved into a mission of empowerment for patients, for my team, and for myself. And now, I want to hear your story. Have you faced betrayal or doubt in pursuit of your dreams? How did you find your strength to keep going? Share your location and experience in the comments below. If this story inspires you, please like and subscribe. Join a community where we turn setbacks into comebacks, proving that perseverance and self belief are the true measures of success. The partnership with Pharmach had propelled Connect Care into a new realm of possibility, granting us resources and reach that once seemed unattainable. Our technology was making a tangible difference in the lives of thousands battling rare diseases, and our vision was finally gaining the recognition it deserved. Yet with this success came an inevitable reckoning with the past. The wounds left by years of family skepticism, betrayal, and doubt were still tender beneath the surface. As I balanced the soaring demands of leading a rapidly growing company, I found myself seeking not only professional milestones, but also personal reconciliation. The complex relationship with my family, once fractured by misunderstandings and harsh judgments, was slowly shifting. Conversations with my father and Emily had evolved from pointed critiques to cautious respect, even collaboration. Emily's involvement in protecting Connect Care's interests had grown into genuine partnership, a symbol of the fragile but hopeful bridge we were building between our worlds. But the scars of the intervention and the whispered doubts still lingered, reminding me how far I had come and how much further I needed to go. The lessons I had learned through betrayal and resilience had become the foundation not just of my leadership, but of my identity. I understood now that true success was not simply about financial milestones or public validation, but about standing firm in one's convictions amid adversity. I had to continue defining my worth on my own terms, guided by integrity and purpose rather than external approval. Professionally, the road ahead remained demanding. Expanding into international markets brought new regulatory hurdles and cultural complexities requiring not just technical expertise, but empathy and adaptability. Each new patient matched each family, helped reinforce the meaning behind every long night and difficult decision. The team's dedication inspired me daily, a testament to the power of shared vision and perseverance. But beyond the boardrooms and data, my story had become one of personal growth. I had learned the importance of setting boundaries, embracing vulnerability, and fostering relationships that nurture rather than drain. The journey from a dismissed entrepreneur to a recognized innovator had been fraught with pain and triumph, but it had ultimately forged a deeper sense of self. Now, as I reflect on this path, I want to invite you into the conversation. Have you faced betrayal or doubt on your own journey? How did you find the strength to persevere? Share your story and location in the comments below. If this narrative of resilience and breakthrough resonates with you, please like and subscribe. Join our community of dreamers, fighters, and visionaries who refuse to let setbacks define their destiny. Together, we prove that with courage and determination, we can turn even the darkest moments into the brightest breakthroughs.